What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Junkyard. Welcome to the Black Death Society podcast. You can make cool edits and I will turn them into shirts and give you a shout out. So make sure to like and subscribe and share with your mama. Today we are talking about missing 411 cases. Missing 411 cases are the disappearance occurred in a national park, rural area, or large reserve of public land. Exceptionally odd circumstances surround the disappearance. Mental illness or voluntary disappearance does not appear to be the cause. So, over 600,000 people disappear every year from national parks, and there are so many conspiracies about it, ranging from cannibals living in the national parks, to wormholes, to fairy circles, to Bigfoot, UFOs. We'll get into all of this, but right now we are focused on the Yosemite cluster of cases. So in Yosemite, there's our national parks have these hotspots, and there's this theory there's this map, I'll put it up, but it shows the cave systems of America, and then it shows the missing people, or the most missing people cases, and it pretty much overlaps. So if there is just a civilization of tunnel people that kidnap and drag humans for their food source, it would be in national parks. So this is from Yosemite. This is Stacy Aras in 1981. Stacy was a 14-year-old girl on a horse riding trip with her father and several other friends in Yosemite National Park. What was likely a picturesque and enjoyable ride over the stunning wilderness of Yosemite became a nightmare for the Aras family. After arriving at the Sunrise High Sierra camp, Stacy cleaned up and decided to take a walk. The young girl asked both her father and another member of the party to join her, but was denied by their company. She made it clear that her walk was only down to a nearby lake in order to take some photographs and stretch her legs. The lake was nearby within earshot of the site, and the area was not known for any instances of animal predation. Thus, her father likely thought little of his daughter's actions. However, once she embarked on her short walk, Stacy Aras was never seen again. After a comprehensive and thorough search lasting 9 days with over 100 people, sniffer dogs, and helicopters, nothing more than the lens cap of her camera was ever found. Mystery Man in 1968. In early August, a man's body turned up in a crevice located within Tenor Peak. This is a site not far from Sunrise High Sierra Camp and the lake where Stacy Aras disappeared. This man has never been identified, but analysis of the body was never able to determine the cause of death. Incredibly, obvious signs such as blunt force trauma or multiple broken bones that might evidence a fall to his death in the gorge were not present. Jeff Estes, 1976. Little more than a mile away from the gorge where the body of the mystery man turned up, 25-year-old Jeff Estes disappeared. Even after official search efforts, as well as the efforts of family and friends, not a shred was ever found. Timothy Barnes, 1988. In mid-July, slightly northeast from the site of where the mystery man's body was discovered, 20 years earlier, Timothy Barnes vanished. Similar to the Jeff Estes case, even after meticulous search efforts, not a shred of evidence surfaced. These 4 instances exemplify the strange anomaly within missing 411 cases of particular hotspots. Here we see within these few square miles a startling concentration of lost people. This suggests a geographic correlation. All these people are disappearing around the same place, so maybe there's, that could be an entrance to either a gateway or a portal or a tunnel. Ronald Kirk, 2012. A runner and former Marine near the Red Rock Canyon, Calico Basin area when he went missing in late January. He had a history of spending time outdoors, especially in the area. Thus, when he let friends know where he was going, no one was concerned. However, this unfortunately proved to be the last time anyone saw him again. Search and rescue teams found Kirk months later, after an extensive search in a spot surrounded by established trails. He was less than 200 meters from a popular route called Turtlehead Peak. Authorities justified the delay in discovery of his remains as an optical anomaly. They explained that the body blended in with the pigment of the soil and rock formations. What makes this recent case especially strange is the way searchers covered the area multiple times before they found the body. The lack of definitive cause of death and the general absence of communication with the family from law enforcement was also strange. David Paulides also noticed this recurring motif of bodies turning up in areas that rescuers had already combed thoroughly in near frequented spots. Maybe it could be like one of the rangers is a serial killer and they're just getting away with it, or they got away with it, but who knows. There's a lot of theories about it. So Bigfoot and other cryptids from Appalachian mythology have come into the equation a number of times. Although many of these missing 411 cases demonstrate strange instances, the link to any mountain monsters is mere folk devil hearsay. I think that's a word. Hearsay? Yeah. I don't know. Interestingly, UFO sightings often correlate with these hotspots, sometimes even around the same time that someone has gone missing. So maybe it's just abductions? Theorists also propose that a serial killer or a cult sect that hunts humans may be on the prowl. Some speculate this may be part of some satanic ritual. Fringe theorists have also viewed the institutional apathy with suspicion. They propose that missing 411 disappearances could be the result of a shadowy government program, with more people becoming aware of some of the government's irresponsible activities at the cost of citizens, such as MKUltra. These ideas can quickly embed themselves in the minds of people desperate for answers. Like, there are so many people disappearing, and they're still disappearing. And a lot of these places are super close to each other, and all these people that are disappearing, they know the outdoors well, so there's no way that they could just get lost or just end up missing and taking the wrong turn. A lot of them have to do near bodies of water and like granite walls. It could be that the things or whatever it is could be emerging from lakes, or they could be crawling out of caves. But my theory is that there could be just cannibals roaming around that live in caves and just come out to eat people. One of the main people that investigated and brought this into like the limelight was a man named David Paulides. He had a lot of insight on the investigations of the missing persons, and he's the one that like got people to start thinking about it. There's this post from a year ago, Robert T. Hohen. He says, David Paulides told us about clusters, where many disappearances take place. It is my considered opinion that these clusters contain portals to another dimension. These portals are like gates in a medieval city. If they're closed, no one can leave or enter the city. If they are open, not only can citizens leave the city, but unwanted visitors can enter the city. Most of the time, the portals and the clusters are closed. You can walk over their area with a large group of 100 people, but nothing will happen, and no one will disappear. But when the portals open up, it is a distinct possibility that you or your loved one will disappear. Who operates the portals? Contrary to what you might think, I do not believe extraterrestrials push the buttons of their UFO consoles to open up the portals. Neither do white-bearded scientists at Area 51, who are part of some top-secret government experiment. Portals are a natural phenomenon. Think about lightning. We do not need UFOs or strange government projects to fire a bolt of lightning. It is a natural phenomenon. The portals open up if the right conditions are met. A synchronicity between meteorological conditions, astronomical conditions, and atmospheric conditions. David Paulides talked about the presence of water, rocks, and berries. When the necessary conditions are met, the portals open up. People in the vicinity feel this very local phenomenon. They feel strange, weird, weak. When they talk to a loved one on the phone, they do not feel well, but they cannot accurately describe what is happening. I feel strange. Something is just not right. I can't breathe. They are in the grip of some horrible fear, but they do not understand what they are so fearful of. They distrust their surroundings, but they never speak about some easy-to-understand threat, like a grizzly bear is following me, I'm running for my life, or I fell into a ravine, I can't move my legs. They notice the total absence of animal sounds. That is easy to understand, because the animals are frightened as well, and either split the scene or keep total silence so as not to draw attention to themselves. When the missing person enters the portal, he is either teleported to another dimension or teleported to another space in our dimension. A 3-year-old child can be teleported to the top of a mountain without having to climb 1 foot. Can we deduce anything about how big these portals are? Yes, we can. Just follow my line of reasoning. If the portals were huge, like 10 square miles, whole groups of tourists would disappear all at once, in the blink of an eye. But I have never come across stories of mass disappearances in national parks. It is usually one person, so the portal probably is relatively small, 100 square feet or so. Of course, our tentative conclusion about the small size of the portals raises another question. If the portal is so small, how does the victim get to it and disappear? He or she will miss it most of the time. Now hold on to your hat. And if you're not wearing a hat, hold on to your head. I very strongly suspect that the victim does not find the portal. He is lured into it. Some non-human intelligence is at work that uses the portal phenomenon to radically alter the consciousness of the victim to lure him into the portal with a kind of hypnosis at a distance. Okay, so like, taking a pause from reading this thing, fairies do the same thing. So what if they're just being lured into fairy circles? We will make an episode on fairies soon. That is the explanation for the mystery of missing persons disappearing without struggling and without screaming. In their altered state of consciousness, either they cannot resist heading for the portal, or they are guided by their belief that they have made up their minds to go for a walk and choose their direction themselves. There's no struggle because there's no one to struggle with. Why do I think a non-human intelligence is involved? It was David Paulides himself who told us on his YouTube channel that missing persons are sometimes found by people who head straight for the location of the missing person even if there is no reason at all to search the location. It is as though the person is guided to find the missing person. Sounds familiar? Rightly so. Because according to my theory, the missing person was guided also. He was guided to head for the portal. Now this portal phenomenon works the other way around too. Other dimensional beings like Bigfoot can enter or leave our dimension through the portal and take up temporary residence in our woods and forests. The reason that experienced tracker dogs are afraid and unwilling to do their job is that they feel just like the persons who noticed the opening of the portal. They feel something is not right in a spooky way. Even people who are found alive cannot explain what happened. How can you describe another dimension? You lack the very words, the very concepts you need to verbally explain what you saw. The total breakdown of your most fundamental frame of reference, your very concept of space and time will be so traumatic and unsettling that you may not recover for years, even if you did not suffer any physical wound or attacks. One child described having been held in a cave. His grandmother was there too, but she turned out to be a robot. There were many robots in the cave. It is logical to assume that creatures entering our dimension through the portal interact with the missing person and either directly or indirectly cause their eventual death. Why are people found in places that have been searched 8 or 10 times? Because they were there all the time, only in another dimension. Do not forget that the screaming of a missing person was once distinctly heard from a position close by, but he was not there, not visible. Again, he was in another dimension. At last, when the conditions change back to their original status, the portal closes. A very sudden and extreme change in the weather can be a natural coincidence to the portal phenomenon. This would be, part 1, maybe, of the series. I'll look into more of the stuff and find more missing people. I'll try to find stuff from 2022 or even 2021. But if you liked what you heard and it's not too awkward for you, like and subscribe and share and follow and hit the alert button, and we will continue going down this rabbit hole of missing persons cases. And maybe the next episode will be about fairies and fairy circles, and I'll go into depth on many different mythological creatures that lure people into different dimensions or to their houses, and we will explore this together. Welcome to the Black Death Society. If you have any input, comment below, or you have any stories to tell that I could share, the email is papajunkyard@gmail.com. I thank you guys so much, and we will catch you in the next episode.